Let's be really clear from the start. This isn't about productivity hacks or learning to work harder. This is an explainer on what I like to call the physics of time. It's about the hidden signals that determine why some people seem to have complete control of their day, while the rest of us feel like we're being consumed by it.
It's a strange paradox, isn't it? You're smart, you're capable, you put in the hours, you're disciplined, and yet there's that constant nagging feeling that you're somehow falling further and further behind. Well, the reason this happens has absolutely nothing to do with your effort.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, the first thing we have to understand is a super counterintuitive truth about time. The problem isn't your schedule or how you manage it. It's about a fundamental signal you might be misreading about who actually owns your time in the first place.
What we're looking at here is a really critical distinction. Most of us believe our time is a resource we manage, like a bank account. But the signal that high performers really tune into is completely different. They understand that time spent reacting to emails, to notifications, to so-called urgent requests isn't managed time. It's surrendered time. It's time given away to someone else's agenda.
I really want you to let this sink in. If you did not proactively choose to do a task, you do not own that time. Simple as that. The moment something is injected into your day by an outside force, you've basically become a cog in someone else's machine. Now, being responsive feels productive, but it's often the exact opposite of making real progress.
And this signal of surrendered time, it doesn't just happen once in a while. Oh no, it builds up, and it creates this systemic pattern that runs our work lives. I call it the tyranny of loud.
We have to completely redefine the word urgency. It has nothing to do with value or importance. Urgency is just a measure of volume. That's it. It's the loudest, most attention-grabbing signal in your environment. That notification that pops up, that panicked Slack message, that last-minute meeting invite. It's literally designed to hijack your attention, whether it's strategically important or not.
And here's the consequence of that hijacking. This chart says it all. Our attention, which is our most valuable and finite resource, flows overwhelmingly to the loud work. And what happens to the deep, strategic, truly important work? The quiet work? Well, it gets starved. It doesn't scream for your attention, so it just waits. And let's be honest, it often waits forever.
So, how does this pattern actually play out in the real world? Well, it plays out every single day in the game of your calendar, where the default setting, whether you realize it or not, is to prioritize whatever is loudest, not what's most important.
Just picture it. You start your day with the absolute best of intentions. You've blocked out time on your calendar for the most important task of the entire quarter, strategic planning. This is it, high-leverage, deep work.
But then, it happens. At 9:05 a.m., the signal arrives. An email, flagged as urgent, with a subject line that's practically designed to spike your anxiety. It's the loud signal. And just like that, the quiet, important work of strategic planning is completely derailed.
Before you even know it, you look up and it's 4 p.m. The entire day has been a blur of just putting out fires, answering urgent pings, and just reacting. You were busy, for sure. You probably even felt productive. But that strategic planning session, it never happened. The day is gone and you're no further ahead on the things that actually matter.
Now, this game has very real consequences. Being trapped in this cycle of reactivity comes at an incredibly steep cost, both professionally and personally. It creates this feeling of being constantly productive, but ultimately completely powerless.
What does that look like? It means you're always busy, but you're never actually in control of your own direction. You're highly visible, yeah, everyone knows you're responsive, but the work itself isn't adding real value to your core mission. You've become a world-class firefighter, not an architect of the future.
So who loses in this game? Well, a few people. The overwhelmed operator who's just burning out on an infinite list of other people's requests. The invisible contributor whose quiet, brilliant, deep work never gets seen. And the replaceable expert who's valued only for how fast they can respond, not for their actual strategic insight.
Okay, so if that's the cost, where's the edge? How do you get out of this trap? It's all about a fundamental mindset shift. You see, high performers don't just have better time management skills. They have learned to perceive and prioritize the silent signals that everyone else misses.
Let's just look at this comparison. For the overwhelmed person, time is something to be filled. For the high-leverage performer, time is something to be protected for high-value work. For the overwhelmed, focus is constantly scattered by interruptions. For the high performer, focus is a deliberate defensive act against the loud. See the difference?
They don't find time, they defend it. They don't react to priorities, they define them.
And this really is the final and maybe the most important signal to understand. The work that creates massive, disproportionate value, that strategic plan, the breakthrough idea, that one relationship that could change everything, it rarely screams for your attention. It whispers. And in a world that is optimized for loud, whispers get buried. The edge is learning how to listen for them.
All right, we're not going to end this with a 5-step action plan. This is not about hacks. Remember, it's about diagnosis. So to finish, I want to leave you with 3 very sharp questions to ask yourself about how you use your own time.
First off, be brutally honest with yourself. Who is really setting your priorities every day? Is it you, based on your most important strategic goals, or is it your inbox, your Slack notifications, and the endless demands of other people?
Second question. I want you to look back at your last workday. What did you spend most of your time reacting to? Go on, make an actual list. I think you might be pretty surprised by how much of your day is dictated by these external, low-value triggers. And finally, this is the most telling question of all. What is that one important, high-leverage project that keeps getting pushed to tomorrow or next week? That thing, that's the quiet work. And understanding exactly why it keeps getting postponed is the very first step to finally taking back control.